All right, you guys. This your boy back at y'all with another one. Let's get right down to business as more information has came out in light of the firing of former Atlanta Hawks head coach Lloyd Pierce. And we knew it wasn't going to take long before we would know why or how all this got taken, how all this came about. Now, coming from the Athletic, it all had to go back to the beginning of last year or the end of last season, right when the Hawks were in they didn't make it to the bubble. They didn't qualify for the bubble. So, but Coach Lloyd Pierce and the Hawks returnees will meet for a team bonding time with all sorts of activities planned that he hoped would aid their chemistry heading into the season where they knew the expectations would be enhanced. There was pickup basketball against other NBA players, a boxing class where they squared off against one another, group dinners where topics was included, among other things, the upcoming election. The real headline that took place when Pierce and Trae Young met privately to discuss the upcoming third year together. At that point, anyone and everyone around the Hawks organization was well aware the relationship between the two key figures was strained. If the Hawks were going to make the playoffs this year and contend for a possible championship, if they were going to avoid the delays in accomplishing the goals that they had to make this work. Now, sources say they ended the trip on good terms and had a better understanding of how they would each make this work for the long term. But in the end, tensions between Lloyd Pierce and Trae Young resurfaced. Other players grew frustrated with Pierce's style, and owner Tony Wrestler's desperate desire to make the playoffs added so much pressure to the situation that it was not to be. Those plans Pierce and Young hatched in Southern California fell short when the underperforming Hawks announced they had relieved Pierce of his duties. Now, Hawks president Travis Schlent, who had worked with Pierce a decade before when they were the Golden State Warriors, made it clear in the team's statement that the move was made in hopes of righting the ship. When they brought in Gallinari, when they signed Rondo, when they signed Bogdanovich, right? You had to know, because I even talked about this for months about Lloyd Pierce being on the hot seat. When he made a comment last season about him being overwhelmed in Atlanta, that right there told me he was on the clock. If you went back to the video I did on coaches being on the hot seat, he was one of the guys that I mentioned that was on the hot seat. And the thing about it was, they started out really well. They started like 4-1. We figured that, okay, 5 games in, Hawks is 4-1. They're going to turn the corner. This could be one of the teams that is going to be in the playoff picture. Injuries, poor play, and and as an end result, things are not working out. And Lloyd Pierce ended up getting the boot. When they brought in Nate McMillan as the assistant coach, right? Because Nate McMillan, guided the Indiana Pacers to the playoffs. They ended up losing in the first round. Nate McMillan signed a contract extension with Indiana, and then Indiana turned right around and fired him. Shortly after that firing, the Atlanta Hawks brought in Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan was the lead assistant under Lloyd Pierce, right? That right there only added to the scrutiny. When they brought in Nick McMillan, it only further added to the scrutiny of Lloyd Pierce's tenure as an Atlanta Hawks head coach. Now, the 44-year-old coach who was in the last guaranteed year of his contract, who had spoken openly in the week prior to the interview with The Athletic about the likelihood that he would be fired, now he ended up being replaced by Nick McMillan, who served as Pierce's lead assistant. And primary reason for all of this, sources say, is that several players from Young on down were eager to hear a new voice. As the season progressed, the goodwill that Pierce and Young had reestablished would dissipate and the friction between them would return. It became apparent that Young and Pierce were not going to be a match that was sustainable for long-term success. But Young was hardly alone. Sources say player support behind Young was dwindling towards the end, with several sharing their desire for a change with management recently. Still, the difficult dynamic between Young and Pierce was an undeniable factor in Pierce's downfall and a tone setter for sorts of the group at large. So, in other words, the players just simply tuned them out. What's up, JMJ2121? Salute to you, homie. The players started tuning him out. And when you don't have the support of the players, the backbone, right? When you lose that, it's hard to get it back. If you get it back at all. Pierce took the tough love approach with Young from day one, opting to push him hard as a way of maximizing his talent. But Young, who had inspired so much hype during this time coming up at Oklahoma, often pushed back against Pierce's style. Pierce made a public comment 2 seasons ago about not running plays for Collins, and it rubbed the Hawks, the big man, the wrong way. He went to Pierce about the issue, but Pierce said and called Collins' approach selfish and wanted to have a more defined role on the team. Over time, the residue from those type of situations remained. Cam Reddish also had an issue with Pierce's coaching. Sources say Reddish felt like he was being picked on behind the scenes when it came to mistakes on the second-year player. There are also a few players on the Hawks who felt like Reddish's potential was higher than anyone on the roster, but Pierce's input was stunting his development. Okay, so we got a combination of things going on here, right? We got guys with egos, right? Guys taking issue to what the coaches is doing, as opposed to going out there and playing. There are reports about one player, instead of working on his game, he's playing goddamn on Fortnite. So when the coach calls you out for your poor play, now they out here acting like, oh man, you singling me out, and I don't like how you talking to me and all this type of shit. And the thing that pisses me off about a lot of these players, when they get drafted and all that, they're so excited and they saying, "Oh well, I work to get where I'm at, and I'm going to listen to the coaches, and I'm going to make sure that I listen to the coaches so that way the coaches can help me get to a position where I can help the team win the championship and all this other nonsense." And yet, when the coach get on you for making a mistake, then you want to all of a sudden have a problem with what the coach is saying. Shout out to the Queen Unique Dawn in the building. Now, Cam Reddish was not ready to come out of Duke. We talked about this, right? I know I talked about it on this channel. I talked about on tickets on my brother Ticket channel about goddamn on Cam Reddish not being ready. But despite the fact he was not ready, the Atlanta Hawks still took him 10th overall in 2019. Now, he's not going to have the luxury of making that excuse about, oh, well, my development been stunted by Lloyd Pierce. He won't have that luxury to make that excuse. Because remember, in that same year, Luka Doncic, right, who Atlanta took, was traded to Dallas for Trae Young and Cam Reddish, essentially. So the lack of trust in Pierce from numerous players started in his first season. And you had an anonymous player come out in April 2019 where Hawks was asked, which coach in the NBA would you not want to play for? He responded with, are we allowed to say the one we play for? The lack of faith in Pierce from the players quickly eroded last year, with several on the team feeling like they could not approach him without leaving the conversation feel like they weren't being heard. Because of that, players would then turn to assistant coach Chris Gent on the hopes that he could be the one to relay comments or concerns to Pierce on their behalf. And, look, if players feel like they can't trust you, then, or they feel like that you're not listening to them, right? Now, we get on these players now, but at the same time, the coach got to be the one that if a player has a concern, it's his job to ease those concerns. It's his job to, well, I'm not saying he should always bend to the will of the players, but I still believe that he got to listen to them. He got to listen to them. He got to take their input into consideration and make the necessary changes to set his players up for success. So there's a balance in that. What up, first down? What's going on with you, man? For real, that's what it is. Now, the way he got fired is bullshit, right? The dude should not have to find out over Twitter he got fired. I don't know. Both of those firings are terrible if you ask me. But I figured Dwayne Casey, since he came off the coach of the year, if I had to pick one. But anyway, there wasn't a specific event that led to Pierce's losing the locker room, but rather a collection of small moments that built up over time. And Atlanta finally combusted in the team's first season with expectations under him. Now, Pierce's comments about Trae Young's game raised eyebrows around the league. During a league office competitor or competition call on December 30th, Pierce was among a couple of members who spoke out about the way certain players are able to draw fouls and at times bait officials into making foul calls. Multiple sources say he spoke about how he hates the shots Trae Young takes at times and the fouls he's able to draw on them. It was perceived as an interesting comment for several people on the call because Pierce's star player has seemingly taken advantage of drawing fouls and getting to the line. But it was made in a broader picture of how players are drawing fouls by manipulating their bodies. Okay? First of all, see, Lloyd Pierce, look, if you got a star player on your team and all that, your job is to protect your star player. That you should have not made that statement on that phone call. If he's able to draw fouls and get to the line and score points so that way you can still have a job, then you let him do that. You don't throw your star player under the bus like that. And the way these players talk to each other nowadays, You didn't think that was going to get back to Trae Young? You made that statement, Lloyd Pierce. Let me understand. Lloyd Pierce makes a statement like that and did not think that was going to get back to Trae Young? See, that's irresponsible, man. The way social media is now, we can find out things at the flash of a lightning bolt. That was so irresponsible, Lloyd Pierce, to make that statement. As far as on-court decisions go, players routinely criticize Pierce's in-game management strategy over the past 3 seasons. We talked about that yesterday. Matter of fact, Gideon talked about that yesterday, about his lack of adjustments. One of the most notable moments of last season came in the December 2019 game in Miami. The Hawks led by 6 in the final minute when Pierce submitted Young out for DeAndre Bembry for defensive purposes. After Miami cut Atlanta lead down to 3, Pierce failed to call the timeout to reassert Young on offense. Bembry ended up getting the shot block. The Heat tied the game and eventually went to overtime, where the Hawks lost. A few weeks prior to that, in the game in Cleveland, Young was frustrated once again with the decision Pierce made late in game situation. Now Pierce had Young inbound the ball with the hope he'd get it right back to put up a clean shot attempt at the end of the game. Instead, the Cavs denied him a good look and the Hawks lost. Now after the game, Young was asked if he preferred being the inbounds passer, and he tersely responded with, "It's not anybody else's way but the coach's way." Basically, a backhanded shot at Lloyd Pierce, right? Now, look, Lloyd, like I said before, when he was the head coach, I've been saying this that this dude was in over his head. This dude was not a good coach, and at some point he was gonna get fired. I was saying this last year. Players routinely felt Pierce didn't take accountability for mistakes they viewed were his own. Last season, as the team went through its final year of a complete rebuild, Pierce would frequently say the team lacked energy and effort, but would be defiantly rebuffed by the team when asked about his claims afterward. Now, the season was much of the same, as players felt like Pierce didn't take any blame for the team blowing 11 games that season, where they held a fourth quarter lead. When some of the players approached Pierce a few weeks ago with the request they have more off-ball movement and free-flowing in the offense in late-game situations instead of stagnation, they once again felt unheard. Over the past few weeks, players started to wonder if Pierce had resigned to the inevitability of his situation and was going to go out of his way. As the story played in and out of in-game situations, sources say Hawks owner wrestler grew incensed with the teams losing winnable games in the same manner. Now, the Hawks offseason, like I talked about, was widely seen as a success, which added pressure to Pierce's situation. Now, in the fourth year of the Hawks front office, he landed Rondo on a 2-year, $15 million deal, Gallinari 3-year, $61 million deal, Bogdan Bogdanovic 4-year, $72 million, Chris Dunn 2-year, $10 million, and Solomon Hill to a lesser extent on a 1-year, $2.17 million deal. But the harsh truth about Pierce's dismissal is that he never truly had the chance to coach this group, as the injuries changed everything about the challenge that awaited him. Rondo missed 16 games with knee, ankle, and back injuries. When he did play, the Hawks have been 14.9 points worse with him on the floor. Dunn has missed the entire season for the Hawks. He was diagnosed with right knee cartilage disruption and worked his way back. He had a setback and needed a right ankle surgery to remove loose cartilage. Bogdanovic missed 25 games with an avulsion fracture in his knee. Now, he came back and played limited minutes tonight, and they win against the Miami Heat. Now, that was Nate McMillan's first game as the interim head coach of the Hawks. Gallinari missed 10 games due to an ankle sprain. Since comeback, he has not looked like himself from a consistent target for opposing teams while on defense. Also, first-round pick Onyeka Okongwu entered his rookie year with a stress fracture, calling him, which caused him to be behind the eight ball from the word go. And yet, with all that roster uncertainty, this part of the Hawks landscape hadn't changed. Russell is known to have made it abundantly clear that he expected meaningful growth from this group, and it appears no amount of unforeseen setbacks was going to change that view from that front. Now, anyone who's been close to the Hawks situation these past few years and saw the struggle of this campaign can sense this was coming. No, but perhaps no one more than Pierce himself. Now, this dude sat down in the interview and he basically told the interviewer from The Athletic that he was going to get fired one day. Now, mind you, Lloyd Pierce just had a baby like a couple weeks ago. He just had a baby girl like a couple weeks ago, and they fired him. And the dude had to find out on Twitter that he got fired. Salute to Courtney Washington, East Oakland 90 Mac. What's up, underrated? Salute to you, homie. Now, Lloyd Pierce leaves Atlanta with a 63 and 120 record, the 11th worst record by winning percentage in NBA history with a minimum of 175 games coached. An argument can certainly be made that Pierce wasn't given enough time to show what he can do as a coach. But as we laid out, as I laid out, you can't sit up here and you can't just sit up here and not listen to your players and you sit up here and throw your players under the bus and all this other type of stuff, and yet you expect to keep your job when things don't go your way. No, I'm not giving out no links tonight, Mr. Big Chats. You gotta sit this one out. So it is one of those things where the players got more frustrated, the players got more resentment towards him, to where they felt the need that a change had to be made. And I do not have a problem with the coach getting fired if things don't work out the way they're supposed to. If he's not listening to his players, he's constantly throwing his players under the bus and all that, okay, I got you on that. But if you're going to fire the dude, why not bring him in the office? Because mind you, he did coach that team in practice that Monday prior to him getting let go. Right? So you couldn't bring him in after practice to let him know that the change was going to be made. He had to go find out on Twitter that he got fired. That's what I don't like. That's where I take issue with the front office of the Atlanta Hawks. So yeah, that's completely foul. But nevertheless, Lloyd Pierce is out of a job right now. Nick McMillan, like I say, he accepted the interim tag. From what I read, the players wanted Nate McMillan to take the coaching gig, and the Hawks won tonight. Now, this is a very low-scoring game. Neither team broke 100 points. I think the final score was like 94-80 in a fast-paced game. That was the final score, 94-80. Let me make sure I got that. Let me make sure I got the. score right. Yep, I was right. 94-80. The next time they play each other will be April 23rd. The Hawks and Heat play. So in this game tonight, John Collins had 17 points and 7 assists. Trae Young had 18 points and 10 assists. I'll take that back. John Collins had 17.7 rebounds with 1 assist. Kevin Huerter played 32 minutes, had 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. Yep. So congratulations to Nick McMillan on his first win as coach for the Atlanta Hawks and all that. But truth be told, though, right? Like I said, there was a balance in that. Players, you can't be playing Fortnite and then when the coach call you out for you not doing what you're supposed to do, all of a sudden now you got a problem with it, right? But then you expect the coach to listen to you whenever you got an issue regarding a particular situation on the court, right? That's foul. That's foul. You don't do nothing like that, man. You got to be in the court working on your game. You can't be shirking your responsibility on the basketball court, but then there's reports out you're playing Fortnite, or you're at a club, or you're doing whatever else instead of working on your game. Now, do I expect you to work on your game 24/7, 365? No. But at the same time, if you say you want to win, if you say you want to, have a legacy, if you say you want to be amongst the greats, hard work, dedication, man, not taking no for an answer and bouncing back when things don't go your way. Now, these players talk about how, the coach needs to trust us. Well, you need to have the coach earn the right to have trust in you. It's a two-way street. Now, I'm not defending Lloyd Pierce because I think Lloyd Pierce, I know Lloyd Pierce is a fellow brother and all that, but he sucked. And if he's not listening to his players and all that, then, I can see why the players get turned off by him. I changed I thought I wasn't gonna put no link up, but I'm gonna put a link in here now. And I want to hear what you guys think. I wasn't gonna have anybody come in, but I changed my mind on that. So I got the link in the chat. Anybody want to come in and all that? But yeah, man, this is some really bad juju that is hanging over Lloyd Pierce's head. Now, where's he going to go next? I have no idea. But the front office got the blame for this as well. I don't like the front office, the Atlanta Hawks. I don't like them at all. I think all those dudes are they're just not good. These executives and all that draft these players, the scouting department, all that has a hand in why the Atlanta Hawks are where they at. I can't tell you when the last time the Atlanta Hawks played in the NBA Finals. You know why? Because they never played in the NBA Finals. What up, JMJ?
What's going on, LB? What's going on? Man, they never did play. You know what I'm saying? At least Dominique and them, Spud and Doc Rivers and, you know, with the Hawks, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never see Joe Johnson in them and the rest of the crew like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, the Hawks been sucking here lately too, though. You know, we haven't seen in the NBA Finals. So that might as well be Charlotte Hornets. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't know what I don't know what to make of this team. Now they think just because they hired Nick McMillan, that's going to right the ship. I think that's not the way to go about bringing in Nate McMillan, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that the Atlanta Hawks, from the scouting department, the GM, all these exec and all that, you know what I'm saying? Look, they drafted Cam Reddish before Cam Reddish was ready. Cam
Mm-hmm.
Reddish was clearly not ready to be in the NBA. You have people within the organization felt like, well, Lloyd Pierce was stunting his development, but the thing was, he wasn't ready.
Yeah, they weren't ready. You know, and Cam Reddish, I think did it come under RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson with Duke?
Yeah, he was on that team with RJ Barrett and
Yeah.
Zion.
Yep. So I was like, if you ain't ready, you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Just like they do with Justin Jackson right now with my Tar Heel, when he came out, you know what I'm saying? I ain't see Bryce Johnson with Carolina, but I'll tell you this though, man. The Hawks need to get it together though. And I want to see the Hawks with the Dominiques, with the Joe Johnsons, with the Zaza Pachulias, with the Josh Smiths over there. I want to see that. I know they made the finals, but that was an exciting team with Joe Johnson and Josh Smith and the rest of the crew, man. And Dominique and Spud in them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
man.
like that.
It just makes absolutely no sense, man. But they paid Bogdanovich stupid amounts of money, $72 million for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
61 million for Gallinari. And look, I like Gallinari, but look, he's not. He is a low ceiling type of player. He's a high floor, low ceiling type of player.
Yeah. And his brother Bogdanovich got them in first place.
He
The
don't
other
move the needle for them.
Jazz in the first place though. His brother, Bogdanovich with Utah. The other Bogdanovich in Utah.
Oh, Bojan. Yeah, that's his brother.
Yeah, yeah, Bogdanovich, man. They doing all right, man. But the Hawks, man. You see, he got 61 million, and they ain't playing as well as they supposed to be with
And he was
Trey
hurt.
Young. Oh, okay.
He got paid 61 million and for 3 years, 60 well that's Gallinari 3 years, 61 million. Oh boy, Bogdanovich got 4 years, 72 million. But he's been hurt, man. In fact, he missed like 25 games. Gallinari missed a whole bunch of games and all that. And look, to me, Gallinari just don't move the needle for them. Like I said, he's a high flow, low ceiling type of player. Bogdanovich, I mean, I like him and all that, but and I think with I think the reason why the Kings let him go is because of the Halliburton signing. When they drafted Halliburton, they felt like, well, shit, we don't need Bogdanovich anymore.
Yeah, and I noticed that shit that they had Halliburton. I see the Halliburton in a few games, man. He been doing good here lately, though, bro. With the Kings and all that. You know what I'm saying. Halliburton been having some nice little games now, but the Gallinari did he play with the Spurs in the championship team?
No, he played with OKC and the Clippers and all that. But like I say, that whole thing, it just didn't move the needle for me, And
Yeah.
you got DeAndre Hunter, who's been I mean, he's been okay, but he ain't nothing to like write home about. There's the friction. There was the friction between John Collins and Trey Young. There was there's the friction between Trey Young and Lloyd Pierce. It was just like, oh man, that was just a very combustible situation. Now you got pressure from the GM and the owner to get the Hawks back in the playoffs and all that, right?
Yeah,
Because they end up firing Mike Budenholzer because things didn't, he that Eastern Conference Finals was pretty much the ceiling for Mike Budenholzer.
yeah, that show was. I'm glad you said that. Budenholzer did give Cal Corver. What's the other dude that used to play for Carroll with Carroll and the
Yeah,
rest of
DeMarre
them.
Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll and was it Millsap on that team with that Eastern Conference? So Millsap with the Hawks.
Yeah, Paul Millsap. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Little
okay.
Ryder, what you got on this thing with the new details that came out?
What new detail that the owner and the star player got along with going out to dinner, smoking cigars, where the star player was like talking bad about the head coach behind his back, talking about, oh, this guy is not right for this team. Like, look, I'm the one who putting the butt in the seats. Same old, same old.
Well, yeah, something like it's pretty much that.
I'm pretty sure Trey Young behind the head coach back got talked to the owner about the way the team is going. And like I said before, don't be surprised if you see certain players on this team get traded on this team because Trey Young don't get along with them. He's already not getting along with his teammates. I'm pretty sure Trey Young had a hand in him getting his head coach fired because he want to do things his way.
Well, he's not the only one. He wasn't the only one that was in that. Now he was the one of the main pieces or one of the main reasons. Well, he was the main reason, but there were other players on that team that was pushing for him to get fired too. There was John Collins, there was Cam Reddish, there was other
You
players
know,
on that team that was pushing for him to get fired. Basically, the whole team tuned him out.
you know what? I would not be surprised if John Collins is not traded around the trade deadline. I know right now you're not hearing nothing, LB, but it's gonna. I would not be surprised if it happens.
That would be a stupid move on their part.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
seen
said, Trey Young, John Collins don't get along right now.
well, I'll tell you this. I see this record. I said, dang, he had a 63. He won 63 games with the 63 games and what 100 some losses. I said, Lord have mercy, but he must be doing something wrong down there. Must
Why
be
you
doing
not
something.
surprised? It's Atlanta. It's Atlanta Hawks basketball. When you go
Yeah,
there, it's like you coaching in South Korea, man. Like it's like a dead end job right now. Atlanta, like you would, but you were Atlanta. Atlanta should be a better basketball team, a better situation. But like you said, you got knuckleheads right now on this team.
yeah. But I'm gonna tell you this though, man. Just hopefully, yeah, man. I'm gonna say it, man. I ain't gonna say it's sort of like that, but Mark Jackson and them with the Warriors, and then when they fired him, they just brought in Steve Kerr. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
Yeah.
you got to think about the situation right now, man. I think Brooklyn's going to dominate the East for the next 4 to 5 years. And if you do bring a new head coach in Atlanta, ain't nothing going to change.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, this would need to happen, right? You got to get people in there that knows how to evaluate talent. Look, Trey Young was a can't miss prospect, okay? But two things. So one, a lot of these players need to get out their feelings. All right, let's just be honest with you. These motherfuckers are thin skinned. they take any kind of criticism as hating on them and all this other type of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if they got an issue, the coach got to listen to them. I'm not saying that he should agree with them all the time, but at the same time, I feel that the coach should actually take their input into consideration and actually, put it to where they can be set up for success, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so it's a balance in that. You can't, it can't just be one way or the other way and all that. You can't just kowtow to the players, but then again, players just, can't be running around here being goddamn shamanites. You know what I'm saying? So and then they don't want to put in the work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You agree to disagree, but you still have to put in the work. You got to put in the work first before you talk to the coach. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in the work, practice, and all that other stuff. You feel what I'm saying, LB and Lou?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, but I can tell you right now, the player when I look at this Atlanta team, I look at guys who don't put in work.
Yeah.
Like I see it. I see a one diva, then just a bunch of role players who ain't gonna put in no work. Just gonna collect their paycheck and do whatever.
Then another thing too, the front office. The front office, man, they got to do a better job of evaluating these players that's coming out from college or from overseas or wherever they're coming from that's declaring for the NBA draft. Because there's too many instances where you get players that are not ready, and then when they get put in a situation, they go out there and they underperform as expected. And then when they get called out by the coach, then all of a sudden, I got a problem with the way he's talking to me. Man, shut the fuck up. You ain't got no goddamn say so.
All
you motherfuckers out there playing in the NBA acting like a bunch of fucking hoes. Y'all out there playing like shit, don't got no fucking IQ, and then when we call you out there, all we do we a bunch of haters and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you another thing.
Y'all up three. Y'all taking 3-point shots.
I'm gonna tell you another thing.
Trying to take the ball to the fucking basket. The time y'all should take the ball to the basket, you don't. And then when the referee don't fucking call a foul, then y'all want to fucking play, but they don't get no goddamn foul calls and shit. God, this shit pisses me off. This ain't no fucking NBA because you guys don't have no fucking IQ. What you want, Mr. Big Chest?
Man, I agree with you, man. These players, like, looking at Atlanta, bro, Trae Young, like, the disconnect between communication, yes, I think Lloyd Pierce should have tried to, not be, all draconian and everything, but, like, these players, bro, like, especially, like, the Kevin Huerters, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, I know he's hurt, but, like, these dudes got to be in the gym, and like, and then like for Trae Young, you the best player on the team. You got to step up as a leader. That's really the one quality that he's been lacking outside, his game. He's a great player, phenomenal talent, but you saw this at Oklahoma. You saw this at Oklahoma when stuff wasn't going his way. He was moaning and whining to the coach. When teammates weren't scoring the ball and everything, he was moaning and whining to the coach like, I don't got help and everything. And we seen when players get a little physical with him and the refs aren't blowing the whistle like they like blowing the whistle every other play, he starts to whine and everything. We seen that. And you can't be throwing backhanded disses to the coach like that. It shows it's a character thing, and people gonna notice it, man. And you gonna that and it's hard because any little thing today in these days will get a coach fired. And the star player, they have all this clout and everything. But I'm like, at the end of the day, man, it's more or less, it's a crybaby league.
You motherfucking cry like hoes all the fucking time, man. This shit pissed me off.
Yep.
Look, they either crying about not having enough help, right? You got four other players on the court at the same goddamn time. You're supposed to be the star player. You're supposed to make everybody better. So make them better. Don't sit up here crying like hoes every time shit don't go your fucking way.
Yeah, probably need to bring Mike Fratello back. Need to bring Mike
No,
Fratello back.
you don't know who needs to be the head coach.
Motherfuckers in here with goddamn bloody tampons and shit. That shit pissed me off.
You want to know who needs to be the head coach? Just make Charles Oakley the head coach. If they get out of line, Charles Oakley take one of them in the back room to smack them over and over again.
They ain't the NBA. Then they done moved away from that, from the Charles Oakley. They doing everything to get. They don't want nobody being like Charles Oakley in that, man. They moving away from that. But the thing is, it's not even that. I don't even think they need. They just need. You got a bunch of players, and here's the thing, bro. Their talent. Their talent. That team is talented. They're very talented from top to bottom. Trae Young, I think he's going to be one of the greatest. He's going to be a top scorer of this era, this new era. I think once Cam Reddish calms his butt down and gets his head out of his ass and everything, I think he's going to be a complimentary player. I think DeAndre Hunter's going to be a great defender, great all-around player. But listen, they have no discipline. They are the most undisciplined team in the NBA. And that's saying stuff because they're not the worst team. They're not the worst team overall, but they lose. If you look at the games that they lost, they should easily be a top 4 seed right now in the East. But they've lost games because of choke leads. They lost games because of mismanaging in the fourth quarter. And at some point, you gotta. At some point, I know Trae Young is 21, but at some point, you gotta hold this dude accountable. You're in year 3. You're in year 3, and you're getting. And it's time, and it's good to get all these stats and everything. But when you gonna start getting W's? We gotta hold Trae Young accountable. He gotta start getting W's.
Now he over there, and then they complain about the wrong things. Their vision's in the wrong area. Everybody, there's issue about, Trae Young was an all-star snub. The team not winning. Your team not winning. I don't want to hear shit about you being a fucking all-star snub. Devin Booker was a legitimate case for being an all-star snub. He had a legitimate case. The Phoenix Suns right now number 2 in the West. The Atlanta Hawks are right now on the outside looking in for playoff positioning, and yet and then people complain about Trae Young not being on the all-star team? Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean,
I don't know shit about no goddamn all-star when your team not winning.
I mean, and the difference is and these crazy people, they talking about, well, Bradley Beal made the all-star and everything, and Bradley Beal's here's the thing. With Bradley Beal, this man is going out there, knowing that his team really isn't that good around him right now until they get healthy. He going out there balling, win or lose, man. He's not blaming his teammates. He's not blaming his coaches. If something happens, he takes responsibility. And he's just balling, and that's something you gotta respect. And with Trae Young, I'm like, bro, you are showing. I hate to say this. This man shows so many female tendencies. It's sad, bro. I mean, the stuff that he be doing, man, whining. You gonna get mad because you tried to set a screen on a 7-footer and you got your butt knocked down, and you gonna go to the ref and you gonna cuss out the ref like you some tough dude. But when Luka Doncic get in your face, you wanna act all buddy. But and him too. He got to stop crying too.
If Trae Young don't watch out, he gonna end up like Darren Williams. That's because you remember Darren Williams was that man in Utah. Then next thing you know, we got the head coach fired. Yeah, you putting up that, but he was not getting no W's. And Utah shipped his ass out, and his career was never the same. So Trae Young better watch out.
Man, he and I understand, and I'm like, man, he proved because I remember people. He had people saying that, he was going to be a bust and he wasn't going to be good. I remember people saying that, and he proved the haters wrong. But, You getting your stats is one thing, bro. You were supposed to be a franchise-changing player. And, yes, you getting your stats. Yes, you awesome to watch, but are you producing wins? Like, are you taking your team to the next level? Because you're supposed to be the leader of that team. John Collins is the second best player on the team. Is John Collins? Are you taking your time? Are you leading your team? Are you holding your team accountable? Are you holding yourself accountable? What are y'all doing to discipline yourselves? Y'all, like, honestly, it's like they got and then, like, I know they got vets on their team, but the vets are hurt. And so the ones that are healthy, you basically got a whole bunch of children out there. That's what it looks like. You got a whole bunch of children playing basketball, and they just, and like children do, when stuff goes wrong, they don't want to take responsibility, and they're gonna be immature. You got a whole bunch of boys out there, not men. That's what I see.
It seems like to me, Rondo got to step in and start trying to be the leader of that team. Because, like, Rondo did come over for the money, but he didn't come over. He came there to win, not to sit on the bench and having to deal with these kids like this.
Yeah.
Well, be fair, Rondo's been hurt most of the time, so I mean, it's kind of hard to be on the court when you're not fully healthy,
Hey, LB, what was this injury again?
So he had back injuries. Man, it's really early in the morning, man. Shit. But yeah, he's had multiple injuries throughout the course of this year. He had back injuries, had hand injuries. So yeah, Rondo, that motherfucker need to drink some milk.
Yeah.
Calcium or something.
I mean, even
goddamn brittle bones, man. You know what I'm saying? Get some goddamn vitamin D in your system, not dick either.
I said he keep out on what he did. They might need him to be a coach.
Yeah,
Rondo.
I heard somebody talked about this in this video talk where they brought Rondo in to be a player's coach. I think it was LA Sports Live. He told me about that.
They kind of did.
Rondo in to be a player's coach and all that. But look, whatever the Hawks got to do to right this shit, man. Look, I think Nick McMillan is the guy that's going to right the ship. I think he was wrongly fired in Indiana. Because remember, this dude signed a contract extension with Indiana, then they turned around and fired him the next day. And I thought that was foul.
That was more foul than the
I think Nick McMillan can get this thing turned around. They beat Miami by 14 points in this fast-paced era we in right now. And then it was 94-80 tonight. Neither team scored 100 points in this fast-paced NBA.
You know why? Because they're only thing they want to do is shoot 3-pointers and layups. No mid-range game, no nothing.
Like they saying, like, because they playing the game off of analytics, man, not actual, And if you look, the analytics say that the layups and the 3-pointers are more a high percentage shot. But then again, how do you think players get cooking? I'm like, if you just popping up threes, it's rare. Like, it's rare that you just gonna start popping off and getting hot just off threes. There's only like 2 players that can possibly do that, and that's Steph and Clay. They're like the only 2 players that can literally just pop up from 30 and just get hot just by popping up from 30. And even then,
the worst thing that happened in basketball was when Golden State went on that run. Every team tried to duplicate that.
But you can't duplicate that, and that's the problem. You can't duplicate Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's level of efficiency together. And then again, you can't duplicate. And then you got players like Dame Lillard and Dame Lillard and Trae Young. They try to duplicate Steph's range, but I'm like, you're not gonna duplicate that because that man's been doing that since college. Y'all haven't. That's the difference. That man said.
He's been doing that since he's been a kid, though. When your father won the almost won the greatest 3-point shooters in the game back in the day, of course you almost shoot like him.
Yeah. Bro, he
Look,
took that thing
for
to a level.
analytics, right? This thing that pissed me off about analytics, right? They use it as gospel. They
Man,
use
ain't got
analytics as gospel. It's like they use all analytics is basically the driving force behind the decision making process. I think that's a mistake because look, they say yeah for look, it shouldn't take a brain surgeon that said 3 points is worth more than 2 points, right? But what analysts can really leave out is a lower you're going to shoot a lower percentage shooting the three versus the two. So what's more efficient? Getting the two. Look, at the end of the day, the goal. Look, basketball should not be be the scientific project and shit. It's a very simple game, right? You put the ball in the basket of your offense. You keep them from scoring of your own defense. It's a very simple game. And yet we take this very simple game and make it so complex and all that to the point where players do get turned out because, oh, well, I'm not in the right area or I'm not in the right set and all that. Basketball should be an instinctive game. Your instinct should
yeah.
be able to dictate how you perform on the basketball court. Not all because 67% of the time this guy shoots from the left hash of the thing, left hash of the court, and before he shoots the ball, 90% of the time he does a jab step. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, LB, I got there's one game in NBA history that shows that analytics is a bunch of bullshit. And you know what game I know you know what game I'm talking about. Game 7 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals. That
Yeah.
proved that analytics were a bunch of BS because the Houston Rockets were up by 15 and they were shooting 71% from 2 and 33 and 36% from 3. 0 for 27. You still shot 65% from the 2. You outscored the Warriors in the paint 67-38. And you still lost because you jacked up 41 threes and you only made 7 out of them.
Well, hey, when you live by the knife, you got to die by the sword, man.
I swear, man. Like, I swear, bro. It's, they talking about, they I just watched them. I got ESPN Plus and everything. And I still watch. They still, they still have. If you don't got it, they still have Kobe Bryant's detail. He actually recorded about 400 of those before he passed away. So I'll be watching those, and he said analytics. He said analytics is a bunch of BS, man. Like he said it, and and these players, they want to say these coaches and everything. They want to say all this.
You see, you know what? You wonder why they hate on Kobe Bryant so much because of what he said. Because analytics was bullshit. Now you got these media people who depend on that show to get them money, hating on Kobe Bryant because he said what he said. Now they turn against him. That's probably why they hate on him so much.
No, that's not why they hate him. That's the least of the reasons why they hate it. They hate him. One, they hate him because he basically, back in the early 2000s, he exposed them for the hypocrites they were. Two, you still got people in the media that hate him for the BS that happened in 2003, which wasn't his fault. That white woman lied, and there's proof that she lied. But that's neither here or there. But my point is, man, like we live in an era where I'm seeing, bro, teams losing games because they relying on a science that really isn't all that true, instead of actually using common sense knowledge of the game. Like, that's what I mean.
It's just simple. It's simple basketball IQ. If you're up 3, right? If you're up 3 in late game situations, you should not be shooting the 3-point shot. Okay, look. Trae Young should not be the guy inbounding the ball on late game situations. Okay, you get a guy that doesn't shoot the 3 well. You gave him to inbound the ball because look, traditional NBA or traditional basketball, the most dangerous player is the inbounder, right? Well, the problem is if say he gets the ball out, right? As soon as he gets on the court, coach is going to say, hey, look, wherever number 11 is, that's where you go. We're going to throw 2 guys on Trae Young. they're going to make sure that Trae Young is not the reason why a team gets beat on a given night. So you don't have Trae Young inbound the ball. You would have a person like either Cam Reddish or even Kevin Herter. One of them motherfuckers inbound the ball, right? You develop a play for Trae Young to get open so that way he can shoot the three. If the situation calls for it. If you're down 2, right, you get the 2 and you force overtime, right? No matter if we're on the road or we're at home or whatever, if you're down 2, you get the 2 to force overtime. Whether you run the offense through Trae Young or you run the offense through John Collins, or even you get a lob to Clint Capella. However you get it is how you get it. But this whole notion that we gotta live and die by the 3, no. That's how you lose games. That's how coaches get fired. That's how players get traded. That's how players don't get those bonuses on these guaranteed contracts they get. Everything has a domino effect when the teams are not winning.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And then in the front office, you got the front office people that don't know how to evaluate talent. They draft these players that's not ready. And then you rely on, and then these players that are not ready, they are here not picking up what the coach is telling them and all that. But that's the direct result of the scouting department recommending these bum ass players to the GM, and the GM taking these bum ass players, and now you leave it up to the coach to develop these bum ass players.
Hey, you know what the worst part about that is? You got one team that's up by 1 point, but they shooting a 3 and you down 1, and that's the worst part. I was like, what? Y'all down by 1 point? Y'all shooting a 3?
Yeah, like y'all remember last year, Miami versus Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. How many times did Boston fuck their own self up right on jacking up 3-point shots when they were down by 1 or 2 points?
Yeah, man. And I was like, what the world y'all doing? Make a layup, a little short jump shot, and you be good. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to play D on that. And that's the worst part about this. You up 1 point, did you try to shoot the 3, 2 points, you guys still gonna go to overtime. People giving up on that overtime stuff too. And that's the worst part.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, JMJ. I'm sorry. You finished? Go ahead and finish making your point.
Yeah, I was saying that they were 1 or 2 points. You go to overtime. What, y'all don't feel like doing overtime now?
They don't want to do overtime, so they want to get out and party.
They want to go to the strip club. They want to go to the titty bar.
Man, look, this is the thing. It just, it really gets on my nerves, right? And this is, and me going on this rant about the players, this is not to absolve the coach of any responsibility, because the coach, look, there's too many times coaches do a lot of dumb shit sometimes. They don't there are a lot of coaches that refuse to make adjustments and shit. We talked about this yesterday or day before yesterday when it came to Lloyd Pierce and his inability to make adjustments and shit. Because he's so stuck in his ways about however what happened where he was at before or is going to work now and all that. And, I don't feel the need that, I know more than the players and all that. And some coaches make a lot of dumb ass decisions, man. Look, I know we getting on Lloyd Pierce, but there's several coaches that should be fired by now, like Terry Stotts, Mike Malone, Scott Brooks, fucking what's the other guy? And oh shit, I can't remember the other coach's name right now.
Luke Walton, Sacramento head coach.
Luke Walton, definitely Luke Walton. How does he still have a fucking job?
I don't remember.
All these bum ass coaches are here in the league right now. That and Portland, they have a winning record, but that's in spite of Terry Stotts, not because of him. You know, it takes Herculean effort by Damian Lillard on a given night for the Portland Trailblazers to win their games and shit. It should not take a Herculean effort by Damian Lillard for the Portland Trailblazers to win their games and shit. You
Remember,
know,
LB, we were talking about that earlier today about how they not really trying to start Carmelo Anthony when they need to, since CJ McCollum's out. He still got Carmelo coming off the bench, even though Carmelo put up on great numbers the last game.
yeah. See, but you know that is going to show you what we think of Terry Stotts. He's a fucking idiot. Mike Malone, yeah, you know, Mike Malone, you know, the Denver Nuggets should not be sitting eighth right now. Their team is way too talented to be sitting in eighth place.
Oh, no, they
Or
playing
in
defense.
seventh place.
They don't play defense.
They play to the level. The problem with the Denver Nuggets, they play to the level of their competition, right?
They
When
don't.
you got a team, when you got the Washington Wizards, you play down to them. But when you got a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, who's the NBA Finals threat, all of a sudden now we're geared up to play them, and then you end up blowing them out in their house. So,
Yeah, man.
which one is it? Which Denver Nuggets will look? Which Denver Nuggets team will show up?
Yep, you
Okay.
sure right, man. And they act like Terry Stotts. He the second coming of Dr. Jack Ramsey and Rick Allen, man, and y'all, you ain't went to the finals yet. You know what I'm saying? Terry Stotts need to go, man.
The only reason
mean,
he got fired, the only reason Terry Stotts didn't get fired 2 years ago, because 2 years ago, around this point in the season, there was talks about getting him fired. This was before the owner passed away, Paul Allen. Paul Allen was looking at firing Terry Stotts, and they got off the talk. Portland Trailblazers ended up making the Western Conference Finals, and that's how his job got saved.
Mm-hmm.
I
I think
mean,
that's what saving Mike Malone's job right now. Since they went to the Eastern Conference Final, Western Conference Finals, that saved his job. Because remember,
Yeah,
Michael Porter Jr. called
true.
him out.
shoot, they should have went to the Western Conference Finals the year before. If we being honest,
Yeah,
I mean,
Some of that joint with Portland against Portland.
you
talking
don't
about
you don't
against
make
Portland?
adjustments. Yeah, you see them doubling Jamal Murray, and you don't make adjustments. This is before they got Michael Porter Jr. You see them, but you take Will, and Will Barton's cooking, and you take Will Barton out the game, and they just doubling Jamal Murray. Now understandably so, Jokic wasn't playing no sort of defense, and he rarely ever does play defense, but still, you had a score that was cooking. You took him out. Plus, you just let CJ start. You just let CJ cook it. Y'all was so worried about Dame, and I'm like, CJ, an all-star caliber player. He didn't make the all-star this year, but he can score. He can score. So I'm like, you put in your worst defender, your worst defending guard on CJ McCollum, not making no adjustments. And I mean, they should. And then the thing is that Denver team almost lost in the first round to the Spurs, and the Spurs had nobody. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't even play. The Spurs just had a bunch of rookies, and they almost got beat. And they almost beat the Nuggets. And people was talking. I'm serious, man. I mean, it'd have been fun because they would have got exposed. Like they would have got exposed if they had to play the Warriors. Like the Warriors even without KD, the Warriors would have stomped them. They would have stomped the mud hole in them. I'm not even lying on you.
it's just a shame that we got this going on right now in the NBA, where it's just a whole multitude of things that leads to you got a lot of you got the teams that are winning versus the teams that are losing, and look, we see a lot of times now these teams are paying these players and a uber exorbitant amount of money. So you lead yourself in a position to where you have a lineup full of studs and duds, right? Or stars and scrubs, or whatever you want to call it, right? So your scrubs, you better nail these scrubs that these guys, the GMs and all that. Y'all better nail these players y'all are drafting and all that. just because Stephen A. Smith with the dark side hairline on TV talking shit about, oh well, this player here, I think he's gonna be good, or this player, I don't think he's gonna be very good. You can't fucking use that as gospel and shit.
Oh man. I mean, I don't even think they pay attention. I mean, Stephen A. been wrong about players. This man said Tyrese Halliburton was going to be a scrub, and this man as a rookie is averaging 14 points behind it and playing well and actually starting on the Kings. Now, it don't help that Fluke Walton is coaching him out of games, but I don't trust Stephen A. Smith nor Max Kellerman. I mean, the thing is, you got professional dudes you got actually NBA scouts that work for the NBA, but that don't work for teams that actually just go scout these guys in college. But you also got, the team scouts that, because, an owner may like a guy, that's why they're get them and everything. And people don't even look at draft grades from the official draft grades. That's the problem.
Look at look at the shit right now. They hyping that boy up from Michigan. They hyping him up. That big white kid. That big white kid play for Michigan right now. Play for Juwan Howard.
Oh, Dickinson.
Yeah,
I like him. He a nice dude.
I know, but it's somebody way better than him right now. He playing that.
No. I'm not talking about. I know who you're talking about, but I know he wasn't on the hype list because of what happened early, what he was dealing through earlier in the year. Now, if you're talking about Dickinson's just a freshman. He ain't even gonna come out. He ain't gonna come out. The dude they hyping up right now is Luka Garza.
He gonna come out. What?
I don't think he's gonna come out. I think he's gonna now. Who I do think is gonna come out for Michigan is Franz Wagner. And I think he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be better than his brother. But they don't
look from Michigan. He better win a national championship for Michigan. He better win a national championship just like Glenn Rice and Ramil Robinson did. If Michigan win a national championship,
I hope that there's only one school. But that's the thing. But you're gonna see all the the tournament's coming up, and you're gonna see all these scouts at the tournament in Indy. Now, if we look at I'm not looking at if you look at the 2019 draft, who would you say is who would y'all say is a bust out of that draft?
Look at that draft. Ain't look at the draft in the wild though, but
LB said, these teams, they don't. The thing is, one, they don't scout players. They don't scout players in the draft well. Plus teams sign players without looking at what they've actually brung. Now, I'm not a person that likes to get in people's pockets, but I know a couple players that didn't deserve $190 million contracts and everything. But that's neither here or there, and they're eating up cap space. It's sad, bro. The state of this stuff, man. Coaches can't get control of their teams because players have say so, and then we're making excuses. We're making excuses for coaches. Why Mark Jackson? For me, Mark Jackson should be coaching. He could coach half these teams right now.
Yeah.
But due to the alphabet,
I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Big Chest, because that's the one thing I want to talk about, right? That's the one thing that really boils my broccoli or peel the skin off my potato, right? Or pluck the feathers off my chicken, whatever you want to call it, right? What's up, 3,000 degrees, right? These players getting all this kind of cachet, and they haven't earned the right to get that cachet where they can sit up here and determine what coaches get fired and all this other type of stuff. Trae Young, don't get me wrong, Lloyd Pierce is an awful coach, but Lloyd Pierce been in the NBA a long time. Trae Young just got in the NBA. And this dude, and these owners and all that, giving these players the carte blanche to go in and, I don't like how he's coaching me and all that, but I don't want him to be my head coach anymore. Can we get somebody else in here? And then when you don't like when that coach is calling you out, then you going back to the goddamn owner. It's like, man, I really don't feel comfortable with this coach here. He just not using me right. Can we get somebody else in here? And this is never ending cycle. The coach don't get no kind of empowerment from the organization. The only place I can see where a coach got backing from the organization is the Miami Heat.
I don't know, because what's his name don't play with that foolery.
Yeah, they have a system. They have a system in place. You either adapt to that system or they're getting you up out of here. Ask Dion Waiters.
Shoot, man, showed up this man eating edibles before training camp. Oh my gosh.
They ain't got, that, to me, that's the way I believe an organization should be ran. Look, if we're paying you all this money, right? If we're paying you all these max dollars on that, you better go out there and get us a win. And I don't want to hear no bullshit. Don't come to me and talk about what this coach is doing, what this coach ain't doing, and all that. No, you're the star player. You got paid all this money. You talk about how you want a max contract. You got the max contract. Now go out there and get it done. And no, I will not fire the head coach. You're gonna go out there and y'all two gonna figure this out.
And I hate you know something, LB. You know something. When they playing under contract, they can give you 25, 15, 10 assists. But when they get that contract, they're like they don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst part about it. When they get that contract, they don't want to do nothing.
Yeah,
they get complacent.
Like the owner got grow a backbone too. They cannot let these players do whatever they want, but they can't. But the owner can't tell these players nothing because if they owner don't do what the players say, they're gonna go to the union and talk about, oh man, this owner don't need to own the team no more. Let's get the owner out here so somebody else buy this team.
Well, no. Well, see, the only way that gonna happen is if they out there doing racist stuff. Now, if they out there being a racist, that's one thing. But for star player just to whine, bitch, and moan because he can't get his way, fuck out of here.
No, you look at teams. I'm looking at teams. It's like you're looking at teams that should be doing good. I'm looking at the Pelicans, bro. They should be a playoff team, but and I say I'm looking at like top to bottom. When I say Mark Jackson could literally coach this team up to its max potential, but because of the alphabet community, I'm not gonna say their name because I'm trying to keep it professional. But the alphabet community, don't care.
Don't be afraid of them, man. You know what I'm saying? They make up 1% of the population. The black percent make up 14%. Fuck them.
Yeah. Because
if y'all scared of the alphabet community, man, we got a motherfucking problem here.
I ain't
man.
scared.
Don't be scared of the motherfuckers, man. Call them bitches out. Call them dick and the booty ass motherfuckers out, man. Fuck that shit.
Nah, because you looking at this, man. You got the thing. My thing is, the problem with them is that Stan Van Gundy, he's supposed to be a defensive coach, but the Pels are bottom 5 in the league in defense, and then they can't finish games, bro. This man don't know how to lead. This man don't know how to use his lineups, man. And you got players and everything. Zion ain't playing defense. B.I. ain't playing defense. Hey, yo, man, do you want to know who their best defender on the team right now is? On ball that actually plays defense and gives effort. Like, see. They best defenders are Lonzo and Jay Hart, and they the only ones giving effort. You got Zion basically cherry picking. He literally takes taking possessions off on the defensive end. And I'm like, bro, if you ain't in shape, bro, this is like your second year, bro. We paying you. You a number 1 overall pick, bro. You need to be in shape, bro. We can't have you taking possessions. And Stan Van Gundy's crying to the media like, well, Zion deserves more calls, man. He should be giving those superstar. I'm like, bro, tell your player to get in shape, bro. I'm like, Guys, like tell
Yes.
Brand.
What is
What is?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that.
I don't want that shit going off of my line. So fuck that. Fuck that.
Big
He has
question.
been playing better, but it
What
shot
is actually good defense in the NBA now? Because
Huh?
what is actually good defense in the NBA now? Because it made so many rules where you can't play defense, where
You
they are
can't.
like, oh, if a
Well,
player give
like,
up 25, 28 points, he playing good defense. No, that's
not.
not good defense.
I mean, here's the thing. The thing is like with good. The thing is with good defense. If you look at, I'm looking at Jay Hart. I'm looking at Jay Hart. I'm looking at Jay. Like if you look at Jay Hart and everything, if you look at it, it's not really scoring. It's basically how you playing the game, how you execute it. If you look at Jay Hart and comparing him to like like Zion, like I'm looking at Zion when they throw him when he's on the block defensively, he's not on his man. He's literally like cherry picking, and they're just switching around. So they're basically playing 4 on 5. When I'm looking at when they come up and they're on switches and they're doing little screens and they're looking at their coverages and everything, Lonzo and Jay Hart when they're in the same lineup, when they have that lineup in there, they're the only ones moving. Bi stagnant. Adam is stagnant. What's his name? Zion is stagnant. And then you get on the offensive end. I'm like, they need Brandon Ingram to be a smarter closer because they be up by like 2 points and Brandon Ingram want to take a tough jump shot with like 2 people in his face and everything. I'm like, bro, you up by 2, slow the ball down, bro. Don't take a rough jump shot. And then I'm looking at other players, Zion, don't just wait for them to get you the ball, man. Get in post position, be active. Like they're not. I don't know what it is, but then Stan Van Gundy's going to the media is like, man, my team's not getting enough calls and everything. Y'all got to stop, man. The refs got to be better. And this man's not even holding his team accountable.
And you know the worst part about Stan Van Gundy? You went to an NBA Finals, man. You went to a 2009 NBA Finals, man. You supposed to teach these boys better than this. With Dwight Howard, with Mikael Petrus, Jamil Nelson, and them. That's the worst part, man. You went to a 2009 NBA Finals. You feel what I'm saying? But that's BS for you, Stan Van Gundy. It's time for you to stop complaining.
So
you went to a 2009 NBA Finals.
Man,
with all that being said, right, back to the Atlanta Hawks. These dudes just need to just shut up and play. And Trae Young is the motherfucking problem when this is 3rd year in the league and you got the organization giving him carte blanche. Now, mind you, Trae Young hadn't won. Yeah, he had an All-Star appearance and I think he won Rookie of the Year and all that. But
Luka did.
Oh, Luka did. Okay, but he did have an All-Star appearance. But even then, that's not. I mean, the team hadn't made the playoffs. So if you ain't made the playoffs, you hadn't played in the conference finals. And if you hadn't played in the conference finals, that means you ain't played in the NBA finals. And if you ain't playing the NBA finals, that means you ain't got no championship. So the fuck you got carte blanche to run around here talking about how you should get coaches fired and all that stuff when he hadn't put in the work. He's out here whining, bitching, and moaning about calls and shit or lack thereof. And then out here, baiting the referee into blowing the whistle just so you can go to the free throw line. Now, did I like what Lloyd Pierce did on that conference call, throwing his star player under the bus? No. But at the same time, Trae Young can't be out here whining, bitching, and moaning. And truth be told, Trae Young is one of the worst defensive players in the league.
Oh, he the worst. He the worst.
Like if you go, I want y'all to see something here, right? So John Hollinger, he created all these analytics, right? And we talk about real plus minus, a catch-all stat. Hold on, I'm put this up for ESPN, right? You share my screen.
Trae Young don't be working on the game. The only thing he be working on no fast supermodels he be sleeping with every night.
Bro, he ain't. It's the sad thing is, his girlfriend actually cheating on him, bro. That's the sad part about it.
Man, I don't want to hear that.
So,
I mean,
so he can't take care of home. He can't take care of home.
Bro, he cheat. Bro, she cheated on him with Joe Harris, bro. Come on,
man,
bro.
I don't want to hear all that. Man, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm talking about him on the basketball court, man. Whatever happens outside the court, man, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's look at the defensive real plus minus here, right? So is Trae Young on top of this list for as far as
Nope.
real plus minus? No, as you can clearly see, right? He is nowhere on this list for defensive stalwarts, right? And that's the entire NBA, right? Let's just go to his position because clearly he ain't gonna make it in his own position, right? So if let's go to point guard, right? Because that's the position he plays. Defensive real plus minus, right? Well, surprisingly, Dennis Schroeder has actually improved defensively, right? Because for a period of time, you could have gone after him, right? But look, he ain't even on page one.
He's on page. I think he did last.
There's a Trae Jones, but he's not Trae Young, right? John Wall, horrible defender, right? Luka Doncic, horrible defender. Another dude needs to stop bitching. De'Aaron Fox, look at that. He did all these dudes, man. Stephen Curry, another horrible defender, right?
Look what Donald needs to stop that.
Last.
I say he did last, bro.
Look at that shit, y'all.
I knew he was dead last.
The motherfucker is dead last in defensive real plus minus.
He need to play some defense, man.
Unacceptable.
He need some steals, something. Even Jason Kidd play some defense. Shoot.
Now, how do you justify that?
You need to go give me some steals or something, man.
Where is he on the overall list? Because he got to be in like the 300s to 400 range.
Well, let's see what he had in the overall, because it's 12 pages now. He might be on page 12, right? Let's see.
I think he did. He close to. I know he probably.
I still got to go to page 12, man. I got to go all the way to page 12, Mister. You really go make? Okay, so let's go to page 12. Maybe I might get lucky. He might end up on page 11. Look at shit. Now there's 478 players in the NBA, right? Guys, neutral. We on page 6. We halfway there.
I really think he dead last, man.
Man, I'm on page 8. I'm on page 9. We almost there, y'all.
Dead the last 477. 477.
Page 11. He's second to dead last. He's second to last.
He what LB? He what LB?
Motherfucker, he's second to last.
I said,
it's 477, right?
He's 477, 478 in defensive real plus minus. And yeah,
how did I guess that?
Get coaches fired? Really, dude?
How did I guess that?
Give all your money back.
He ain't never win an MVP in his career. He ain't gonna never win one. I can tell you that.
He sure as hell ain't win a defensive player of the year with them kind of numbers.
Oh, not with that.
Look at that. His offensive numbers, right? Because on the left, you got your offensive real plus minus, right? So if we go to offensive real plus minus, He's number 11. If you go to offensive real plus minus, he's number 11 in the NBA.
Dang, Steph
Oh,
number
they look
one
at
like
the
usual.
offense. They look at his offense. They look at his offense. The defensive balance. I said, man, you better play some defense if you want to go to a championship.
If you want to be MVP in the league, look. If you want to be MVP in the league, how about playing on both sides of the ball and not just on one side of the ball?
Nah,
That's
We
man.
get so
right.
enamored with all these goddamn, oh, he can score all these points and he can get all these assists and he can get all these rebounds and all that, right? We get so enamored by those numbers, but truth be told, you don't be an MVP by playing on only one side of the ball.
Yeah, off a
Well,
defensive
that's kind of like
shutdown. Off a defensive shutdown, or go give me some steals or something, man.
Well,
Yeah.
the way things looking this year, they trying to go by numbers, rebounds, and assists for the MVP this year instead of the defense, the win shares.
I mean, but if we looking at defense, like you compare him, like if you look at him, like we all know his problem is he ain't giving effort on the defensive end. I know a bunch of guards that can't defend, but like I look at Steph, he cannot defend to save his life. Like I pray for his ankles every time he
Don't
gets.
say it now because because we've been saying that for the last couple of days. He's on Stephen Curry fan talking about he played defense. He played defense.
No, he don't play. Here's the thing. He physically can't play defense. He don't got that. He don't got the lateral quickness. Like you move one way, he gonna go to Antarctica. I promise you that. He don't got the lateral quickness. He don't got that. And that's mainly because of his ankle fusion surgery. But he cannot move laterally at all on the defensive side. He will get broke down easily. But the thing is, he gives effort. What I see with Trae Young, he don't give effort. That's all I'm really asking for. If you give an effort, bro, you the leader of your team. If they see you giving effort, they gonna give effort. It's a residual effect. But like, he don't give effort. That's why teams, they literally target him every day, every game. And if they go, and every time they go against a good scoring team, like every time they go against the Nets, Kyrie and James Harden, they be like, hey, let me take turns on that little light skinned little boy right there, man. We're gonna take turns on him, drop 30 on him a piece, man. Like it happened this year, bro. I literally watched them take turns dropping 30 on Trae Young. Like, and they said, man, they literally in the interview, they was calling him chicken. They was calling him fried chicken.
And you know something too, man.
Right.
That's why we rarely. That's why we rarely see quadruple doubles here lately. We ain't seen a good quadruple double or good. We have few 19, 10, and 10 blocks. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen no steals from a point guard in a while, like 5 steals from Jordan or 5 steals for Kobe. Or 5 or something like that, or make a hell of a defensive effort. We ain't seen none of that in a while.
I mean, there's only been one person in the last 10 years that's came close. We're in the last 15 years that's came close to a quadruple double, and that was Draymond back in 2016. He had 9 points, 10 assists, 16 rebounds, and he had 11 blocks. And that was the closest one that's came to a quadruple double. Other than that,
9 points, 9 points.
He ain't a scoring threat. Like you seen it, he got a backpack jump shot, but
yeah, the same guy who probably gets stuff thrown out the games, and if things ain't going right.
No, I mean, see, I swear. I mean, like that man. I mean, the thing is, like, he good for his role, but like, I swear, man, when they need him to be for his role and everything, like, come on, bro, you can't. I know the Charlotte game, bro. Steph Curry got the flu and everything, whatever. He got the stomach flu, whatever it's called. He wasn't feeling good, throwing up and everything. Y'all up by 2. You get a technical foul. They get 2 free throws and the ball, and y'all lose the game, and you out because you can't play defense, and you get ejected. And I'm like, I mean, you too. At some points, I'm like, Draymond, you like 31 years old, man. You too old to be doing that. And but now you got kids doing it now, man. You got Trey Young, he 20 and he doing it. He my age and he doing it. Shoot,
LeBron
shoot, let
James,
my mom,
36 years old, he's doing that. Grown ass man.
yeah, it's like shoot. Let my mom catch me acting out because I don't get my way. Shoot, that's an extension cord across the butt. That's an extension cord and a cast iron skillet across my back. Shoot.
That's a smack in the mouth.
I swear, I'm like, man, they don't got, man. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, man, these people don't got no respect, man. And I like Trey Young, man, because like he was that, like he that dude, like he that underdog type, you know. Nobody thought he was gonna be good because he's small and he's skinny, and you know the light skin thing and everything. You know, people thought, you know, he ain't gonna be good and everything, but you know, he got that chip on his shoulder. But at the end of the day, bro, you haven't made it yet. You know, you done good so far. You know, you're averaging 26.5 points for a career, but you know, you haven't made it yet. Like until you make into. Like,
I'm gonna tell you this now. He need to be like Iverson. Then you need to be like Iverson.
Yeah, but he's nowhere near athletic as Iverson was. Nowhere near it. He's the
problem is Iverson had John Thompson to teach him how to be the player he is today, the player he was back in the day. Like Trey Young had who as a head coach back in college? Ron Kruger?
Yeah, well he went to Oklahoma. I forgot. But the thing is, like, I forgot that coach at Oklahoma. I don't think he's there no more. I think he's an assistant coach on the Pacers now. But the thing is, I remember like people. I've been on Trey Young. You know, I watched him when he was in high school. I remember, you know, I've seen when I saw his AAU team when he was playing for the same AAU team when him and Michael Porter Jr. when they was playing for the same team in high school and they was killing the state of Texas. Oh man, that was bad. They was still, man, dropping 50 a piece and they was dropping 50 every other night, just killing. But like you saw that thing earlier, and like they was talking about this in college, bro. Like Oklahoma, he was at Oklahoma, he was averaging 30 points a game, and they started out 16-3, and they ended up almost missing the tournament because teams figured them out, and when Trey Young couldn't score, he would start whining.
Yeah, man.
So it probably starts at the those ALU games. It probably starts there when he get so big of a head they don't want to listen to nobody else. Think they gonna try to do everything themselves.
No, I mean, like if you look at the AAU circuit, man, it's like, you know, like he was on this NHS TV thing, like, and like the media basically, it's like they let kids they let these kids do everything and anything, man. And I swear, man, and you know, and I understand where the chippiness and the attitude comes from, because I know he gets picked on because of his small stature. I mean, like literally, he looks like a 13-year-old out there playing against grown men, and not to mention he sounds like a 13-year-old at times. So I mean, you know, I understand why he gets picked on a lot and why people like to, you know, joke on him. But you know, it doesn't help that he tries to act like the macho man, act tough when he's really not. Because I swear, if he ain't been tested like he been tested, like, you know, if he get a Patrick Beverly up in his face, you know, all up in his grill, you know, what he gonna do? You know, is he gonna cry to the ref or he's gonna handle his business?
He got that Napoleon complex.
Yep, you can tell. I mean, you know, they said that, man, like, you know, he trying to live up to the Steph comparisons. I'm like, bro, you are never going to be Steph Curry. You don't even have a legs like him. Your shot form ain't gonna be like him, and that's just facts. no hate, no disrespect, but find your own way, bro. You don't have to chuck up 30-footers every game, bro. Steph don't even chuck up 30-footers every game.
I think Nick McMillan going to reel that in. Look, Nick McMillan we all know he was a former point guard when he played for the Seattle Supersonics and shit. And I think, he's going to, reel Trae Young in and be like, look. And that's the thing. Nate McMillan has credibility. He's played the game on a high level. So, if anybody had any kind of credibility, is him. And they're not listening to Nate McMillan. And Nate McMillan been around the block. He's coached several teams. He's taken teams to the playoffs. So I just think a lot of them players, man, they just need to get out there, get off their high horse and all that, and get off of Fortnite and get their ass in the fucking gym.
Man, shit.
That's the only thing they can do. That's the only thing they can do. You mean you getting paid millions of fucking dollars? Look, you pay me 1% of what you paying these motherfuckers, man. Look, I practically live it in the gym.
LB, you right on that, because I be seeing a whole lot of NBA players on that Twitch app playing no video games. Like,
hey, I be playing them though, man. The weird thing is I be playing them. Like I played. I mean, last year, let's see the NBA players, because I be playing. I'm in the esports league and everything, so I get to play a lot of like these NBA players. So last year, I played Jay Hart, and this was during the bubble. I played Jay Hart. I played De'Aaron Fox. I played Lonzo. I played LaMelo. I played Cam Reddish. It's not just Fortnite. This is Apex. This is Call of Duty. Let's see who else I played. I played Kelly Oubre. The one person I haven't played that I want to play Ben Simmons though. But I think that's.
You wonder why New Orleans did not make the playoffs in the bubble, because they were so busy playing damn video games.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, man. They need that LB. I'm gonna tell you this, man. They need that military Greg Popovich type of stuff, man. Play hard, man. Work hard in practice and work hard on the courts too. They ain't never got that. You just play just
right
like
now.
that.
To me, he's the last type of. He's that type of coach. He's the last one, because once he retires, then you ain't gonna have no more coaches like that in the NBA.
Yeah, that's right. Popovich was a disciplined, military type coach. You know what I'm saying? The part about it is he was in the Air Force, and that they used to be called the Mansion Branch. You know what I'm saying? But you still have to do the basic training, the AIT, whatever, and the permanent party off of that stuff. That's why we ain't gonna. If Popovich retires, man, it's gonna be, it's gonna be other coaches. They ain't gonna teach that system like Popovich, what he did. Never again, man.
Isn't Mike Malone? Did Mike Malone coach? Wasn't he assistant under Popovich?
Yeah. You got prodigies down there, but they don't compare to Popovich. They don't compare to Popovich.
Well, I think just trying to be like him. Like my thing with Mike Malone is that he don't hold his team accountable. That's my thing. Is now last year, like I'm looking at him, I'm like, you're not holding like you're not Michael Porter Jr. You're not. He's playing like he's got games where he got 17. He gets a 17 and 15 game, and then he has a game where he has a triple single. And then it's just like you're not holding your team accountable. You're not holding Jamal Murray for shooting teams out the game, and then you're not holding Jokic for being playing soft on defense. And like for him it's like a laissez-faire. It's it is what it is type attitude. And I'm like, bro, that's not a winning attitude, man. That you ain't gonna like the way they playing, bro. They get a team that comes in hot, bro. They might lose in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
I think Budenholzer. I think Budenholzer was a Popovich prodigy too.
Yeah, he was.
So,
But
Goddamn,
And on that note, I'm gonna end the stream on that note. I'm gonna go back to sleep. But you guys, I appreciate y'all for letting me for coming on, cooking with about the situation with the Atlanta Hawks. They playing the Orlando Magic tonight. I think this is their final game before the break. We won't. I think we're gonna see all the major changes with this team after the break. So how those changes play out, we'll see. But I'm out here, y'all. Smash a like, hit the subscribe, man. It's your boy. Scream at me.